Nexus Technologies welcomes you to our official launch. The sleek digital invitation flashed across screens throughout Silicon Valley's tech ecosystem, bearing a date in mid-May, exactly 1 year after 4 strangers had found themselves grouped together at a hackathon station during a power outage. The transformation in those 12 months had been nothing short of extraordinary. From reluctant teammates to accidental roommates, from viral video subjects to fledgling entrepreneurs, and now, finally, to the founders of a legitimate tech startup on the verge of public launch. Server capacity doubled and load testing complete, Nate announced, looking up from his terminal in their now-established South San Francisco office. His coding corner had evolved into a proper development section, staffed with 3 additional engineers who had joined their growing team. Final UI polish is done, Noah confirmed, swiping through screens on his tablet. His design domain had expanded too, now including a junior designer who worshipped Noah's creative approach while bringing complementary skills of her own. Press kit distributed to all tech publications on our Tier 1 media list, Jamie reported, checking off items on his launch protocol. The marketing department consisted of just Jamie and a social media coordinator so far, but their strategy had already generated substantial pre-launch buzz. Financial projections indicate we can maintain operations for 14 months at current burn rate, even with minimal revenue during initial market penetration, Devin concluded, closing his laptop with rare satisfaction. His meticulous management of their resources had stretched their seed funding further than even Richard Barnes had anticipated. The 4 founders gathered at their central conference table, a ritual they'd maintained despite their expanding team and operations. The retreat had transformed not just their personal relationships but their professional approach, instituting protected time for founder alignment amidst the growing complexity of their business. Hard to believe we're actually here, Jamie marveled, looking around at the office that now housed a team of 11. Remember when our biggest concern was Professor Torres's impossible deadlines? Or Zach's terrible pull-out couch, Noah added with a grin. Or a certain blackout that started everything, Nate said quietly, the memory still vivid despite everything that had followed. Devin, ever practical, brought them back to the present moment. The launch party venue confirmed final details this morning. Catering, technical setup, and security are all arranged according to specifications. The venue was significant. The same auditorium where they'd first met during the hackathon, now transformed for a very different kind of event. The symmetry hadn't been lost on any of them, particularly after Professor Torres had pulled strings to help them secure the space. Everything we've built comes down to tomorrow night, Jamie remarked, a mixture of excitement and anxiety in his voice. Technically, everything we've built is already deployed on secure servers with redundant backups and will continue functioning regardless of the party's success, Nate corrected, then caught Jamie's expression and added, but yes, I understand the metaphorical significance. The others laughed. Nate's literal interpretations had become endearing rather than frustrating as they'd learned to translate each other's communication styles. I propose we adjourn early today, Devin suggested unexpectedly. The team deserves recognition for their efforts, and we should ensure everyone is adequately rested for tomorrow's events. Williams advocating for work-life balance? Noah placed a hand over his heart in mock shock. The retreat really did change you. Practical considerations, Devin maintained with dignity, though his eyes betrayed amusement. Cognitive function diminishes with fatigue, particularly during high-pressure situations. They gathered their team for a brief but heartfelt pre-launch acknowledgement, then released everyone early, a practice that had become part of their company culture, reflecting values that place sustainability alongside innovation. Later that evening, the 4 founders found themselves drawn back to Zach's apartment, now permanently theirs after he'd decided to extend his New Zealand stay indefinitely. Though they'd long since found their own places, the apartment remained their emotional headquarters, the place where their relationships had first transformed from professional to personal. To think we almost let job offers tear us apart, Jamie reflected, uncorking a bottle of champagne they'd been saving for this moment. A statistically probable outcome given typical post-graduation trajectories, Devin noted, accepting a glass. But we defied probability at every turn. That should be our company motto, Noah suggested, raising his glass. Defying probability since that blackout when Nate tripped over his own feet. I maintain that cable was invisible, Nate protested with the comfort of someone who'd heard this teasing many times before. The champagne toast extended into reminiscence, for friends tracing the improbable path that had led them to the eve of their official launch. The arguments, breakthroughs, crises, and celebrations that had shaped not just their product but themselves. I have something to share, Jamie said eventually, an uncharacteristic nervousness in his voice. Or rather, Nate and I have something. All eyes turned to them, curiosity piqued by Jamie's sudden formality. We've been looking at property, Nate explained, pushing his glasses up in a gesture that had become familiar to them all. A small piece of land about an hour outside the city. Nothing fancy, just a place that's ours, Jamie finished when Nate hesitated. Somewhere we can escape when Silicon Valley gets too intense. Maybe build something simple eventually. The announcement hung in the air for a moment before Noah broke into a wide smile. Nate Walker, closet nature lover. Who would have guessed? It has excellent internet connectivity, Nate defended, though his expression suggested other priorities had factored into their decision. It's a wonderful idea, Devin said with genuine warmth. Geographic diversification creates psychological resilience. Is that Williams speak for, I'm happy for you? Jamie teased. Precisely, Devin acknowledged with a small smile. Well, since we're sharing future plans, Noah exchanged a glance with Devin, who nodded slightly. We've been developing something too. A side project of sorts. An extension of Nexus's core technology, Devin clarified, but with specialized application. We're calling it Bridge, Noah continued. It's an inclusive networking platform specifically designed for underrepresented groups in tech and creative industries. Using our connection algorithm to highlight complementary skills and opportunities, Devin added, while addressing documented inequities in traditional networking structures. Jamie and Nate exchanged impressed glances. The project perfectly combined Noah's passion for inclusivity with Devin's analytical approach to systemic problems. That's incredible, Jamie said sincerely. When were you planning to tell us? Tomorrow actually, Noah admitted. After the main launch. We wanted Nexus to have its moment first. But it felt appropriate to share now given your announcement, Devin added. The symmetry wasn't lost on any of them. Two pairs, each building something that reflected their unique values while remaining connected to the shared foundation they'd created together. To the future, Jamie proposed, raising his glass once more. Both shared and individual. To defying probability, Noah added with a grin. To unexpected connections, Nate contributed quietly. To optimal outcomes through complementary attributes, Devin concluded, his formal phrasing now an endearing trademark rather than a communication barrier. Their glasses clinked in the apartment that had witnessed their transformation from reluctant roommates to committed partners. The launch party the following evening exceeded even their meticulous planning. The hackathon auditorium had been transformed with subtle lighting and minimalist decor that reflected Nexus's design aesthetic. Attendees included fellow entrepreneurs, potential investors, tech journalists, and, to their particular satisfaction, every member of Kyle Stevens' former team. Kyle sends his regrets, his former teammate Alex Reeves informed them with barely concealed amusement. Something about a conflicting commitment in New York. How convenient, Noah remarked innocently. We saved him a special place right up front. Professor Torres arrived early, bringing with her several faculty members who had once seemed impossibly intimidating but now greeted them as colleagues rather than students. From blackout to breakthrough, Torres observed, surveying the buzzing room with evident satisfaction. I knew you four had something special from that first night. You deliberately put us together, Nate realized suddenly. For the class project too. It wasn't random assignment. Torres merely smiled enigmatically. I recognize complementary attributes when I see them. Richard Barnes made a characteristically dramatic entrance halfway through the pre-demonstration reception, accompanied by several high-profile venture capitalists who examined the founders with undisguised assessment. My most unusual investment is also proving my most interesting, Barnes informed his colleagues loudly enough for the founders to overhear. 4 graduates who understand what most tech companies never learn, that human connection drives technology, not the reverse. The platform demonstration itself was flawless. No crashes, freezes or technical glitches marred their presentation this time. Jamie narrated with natural charisma as Nate showcased the technology, Noah highlighted the user experience and Devin explained the business model. Their complementary styles created a presentation greater than any could have achieved individually. The audience response was immediate and enthusiastic. Journalists clustered around them with questions. Potential clients requested immediate meetings. Investors who had previously ignored their emails now pressed business cards into their hands with urgent invitations to discuss potential synergies. It's working, Jamie murmured during a brief moment when they found themselves together near the demonstration stage. Everything we built. Everyone believes in it. More importantly, we believe in it, Nate replied, the confidence he'd developed over the past year evident in his steady gaze. That's what matters. As the formal presentation concluded and the celebration began in earnest, Noah and Devin unveiled their Bridge initiative, receiving immediate interest from diversity-focused investor groups who recognized its potential impact. Told you they'd get it, Noah said triumphantly to Devin as they fielded questions about their supplementary project. Your intuition about market reception was surprisingly accurate, Devin acknowledged, which from him was practically effusive praise. Later, as the party reached its peak, the four founders found a quiet moment together in the same corner of the auditorium where they had first gathered during the hackathon blackout. Full circle, Jamie observed, looking around at the space where their unlikely journey had begun. With significant evolution along the vector, Devin noted, his analytical nature softened by evident emotion. We should light candles, Noah suggested with a mischievous smile. For authenticity. Please don't, Nate groaned, though his expression remained fond. I'd prefer not to explain to the fire marshal why we deliberately created a hazard during our launch party. The banter flowed with the ease of people who had moved beyond initial attraction into something deeper, the comfort of partners who had weathered challenges, celebrated victories, and built something lasting together. Do you think we would have found each other without the blackout? Nate wondered, voicing a question they'd all considered at various points. Statistically unlikely, Devin began, then paused, reconsidering. But I'm increasingly convinced that some connections are inevitable, regardless of initial circumstances. That's practically romantic coming from you, Williams, Noah teased, leaning against him affectionately. I have my moments, Devin replied with dignity, though he made no move to create distance between them. Jamie studied his friends with the perspective that came from their extraordinary year together. The blackout didn't create anything that wasn't already possible. It just revealed connections that were waiting to be discovered. Like our algorithm, Nate nodded, understanding immediately. Exactly like our algorithm, Jamie agreed. We built Nexus because we lived it first. As they rejoined their launch celebration, the four founders moved with the confidence of people who had discovered something profound. That the most unexpected connections often form the strongest bonds, that differences can become complementary rather than divisive, and that the most revolutionary technology is ultimately about human connection. The hackathon disaster, the impossible professor, the accidental roommates, the road trip revelations, the viral mistake, the midnight confessions, the competition crisis, the graduation crossroads, the startup gamble, the pitch disaster, the Silicon Valley survival. Each challenge had been a necessary step in their evolution from strangers to partners in every sense of the word. Nexus Technologies would go on to exceed even Barnes' optimistic projections, eventually expanding beyond university organizations to communities worldwide. Bridge would become Noah and Devin's passion project, addressing systemic inequities through technological innovation. Nate and Jamie's countryside retreat would grow from idea to reality, providing balance to their increasingly high-profile professional lives. But on that night, as their creation launched officially into the world, what they celebrated most wasn't the technology or the business potential. It was the revelation that had started in a darkened hackathon and crystallized through every challenge since. That sometimes the most extraordinary innovations emerge not from similar minds thinking alike, but from different perspectives finding unexpected harmony. The power had been restored, literal and metaphorical darkness dispelled, but they had kept the candles burning. A reminder that constraints could lead to creativity, that apparent disasters could become catalysts, and that four mismatched students could discover connection algorithms far more powerful than any they might code.